It's here. October's finally here. We've made it, everybody. My little darklings, we've made it to October. Somebody wake up Green Day. I think that's one of our jobs, right? We've got a lot to talk about tonight. We've got a couple of great guests joining us and Jason Gowin. So make sure that you stay tuned. We've got a lot to discuss. The Ghost Magnet is in the house. Bridget Marquardt, Jamie Kaler, Jason Gowin from the Parents Lounge join us as we go upon further review and beyond. That's all next on the best in paranormal talk radio. This is the Paranormal 60 with Dave Schrader.
I'm not gonna stand here and listen to this baloney. You won't float. He doesn't stand for baloney.
Sounds like a lot of supernatural baloney to me. Supernatural, perhaps. Baloney, perhaps not.
We are back. Your under the weather host is back in his seat. I got to tell you, I had COVID earlier this year, and I felt like this is what people are complaining about. This is nothing. I picked up a cold. I've now tested negative 4 times for COVID. This thing is kicking my ever-loving ass all up and down the square. But I am here. We're going to have some fun tonight. We've got a lot to discuss. And for those of you that checked it out last night, we are down to just one episode left of The Ghosts of Devil's Perch on Travel Channel and Discovery Plus. It's airing this Sunday. And I would like you to join me. How do you do it? Well, we're going to be out in Butte itself. That's right. I'm going to be there all weekend long. A lot of cool stuff going on. Friday, I'm going to be doing a radio show out there, and I'll be putting up a link on my social media so you can listen in and hang out with us. That'll be 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Saturday, I'll be at the World Museum of Mining doing a book signing. And Sunday, that day, 4 p.m., World Museum of Mining meet and greet. You can come on out, meet me, greet me. Let's have some fun. 6 p.m., we're heading over to the Mother Lode Theater for a Q&A to talk about all the high strangeness from this season. 7 p.m., it's time for the season finale. I can't believe it. 8 episodes. Boom. Just like that. Gone. And we've got the best for last. You can join me there for a donation of just $10 per person. All the proceeds go to the World Museum of Mining and the Mother Lode Theater for hosting us in. And we're going to raffle off 10 VIP tickets to go underground with me. We're going to go back into the World Museum of Mining, and we're going to see what the spirits have to say. How do you join me? Just go on out to Butte, Montana. I'll be kicking around. I'll be at all of these great locations. You can find me, and I'll be hanging out doing some of the tours with Chris Fisk. You could check out the tours that we discuss as well with the Spooks and Spirits tour, Haunted Walking tour, Haunted Trolley tours. And we've got a lot that's going to be going on this weekend. I'm super excited about making it out for that. And then I am out of here. I'm off to Ireland, where I'm going to be enjoying 8-9 days out in Ireland with a bunch of our listeners and fans of the supernatural and paranormal. And then I go straight to Scarefest in Lexington, Kentucky. And hopefully by then I will have shed all of these molecules and germs and refreshed and feel better and be less blotchy, less sweaty, and just as much fun as normal. So make sure you go check that out, darknessevents.com, to find out where I'm going to be and how you can join me in the next few weeks. All right, let's get started. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been a guest on her program. She is now joining us for the very first time, and I'm excited to have her join us. We got a chance to meet and hang out at the Michigan Paracon this year, and just a delight. She was great. She brought her mom along. How much more wholesome and healthy can you be? Please help me welcome the Ghost Magnet herself, Bridget Marquardt. Hey, Bridget, how are you?
Hi, good. I'm great. I have to say, your intro is so spooky and so professionally done.
Well, thank you. I have no hand in that. I simply turned over all the goods to Bart L., my producer, who whips up this stuff for me and knocks it out of the park every time. So I appreciate that.
It really put me in the mood.
Well, that's the idea, right? We're trying to get those juices flowing for the spooky, and we're going to have a good time with that this evening. First of all, I know your mom's tuned in. So hi, Judy. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in and checking out the show. We've a little bit later on, Jamie and Jason are going to join us for Upon Further Review. And wait till you see the the horror movies I made them watch, Bridget. I've got to get you on. Are you willing to do that for me? Can I send you off to watch a movie of my choosing and then have you come
Oh,
back and do a review for us?
yes.
All right. Yes. Yes. See, and my I always hope to find some forgotten gem, something that maybe you don't know about, maybe you've heard about in whispers and passing, and then bring it back. And we've brought back some great horror movies and some clunkers. So tonight you'll have to decide for yourself whether I gave Jamie and Jason clunkers or a couple of deserving gems. But we're going to
Okay.
also be talking about horror movies. Bridget's brought along her top 10. I brought my top 10. Jamie and Jason have brought along their top 10. We're going to be going to you, our viewing audience, and throwing up some of your favorite horror movies as well. Try to think outside the box. I don't want to just see the same old titles because we're already going to cover some of those, but we want to see some of the other cool ones that maybe people don't know about. So we can all enjoy this holiday season. Bridget, you've got a lot going on. Talk to me about being a ghost magnet. Do you feel that you really do draw spirits to you, or are you one of those lucky people that just happens to be in the right place at the right time when the spirits decide to come out and play?
Well, I feel like it's just been something that's been with me my whole life. So I don't think that I have any better luck necessarily in a location than anyone else at any given time. But it's just something that has been with me since I was very young and is still with me today. So I think that's where the name came from.
Are you have you always been pretty open to the spirit realm as an accepting, or was it frightening at first, especially if it's been with you this long?
Both. I always, felt drawn to the spooky side of things. I always, even from a very young age, loved spooky movies and ghost stories. Like, I was fascinated by all that, wanted a Ouija board so bad. And then, when I first had my first experience, it terrified me. Like, I was so scared and didn't know how to handle it. And, I think it's still that way today. I think that things happen that are spooky, but that's part of the adrenaline of it and part of what makes it interesting and keeps you motivated and wanting to experience more. Like, I'll experience something, it'll scare me the crap out of me, and then I'm like, do it again.
Now, when you had your first experience, the one that really scared you, when
Mm.
you look at it now, is it one of those things that still is frightening to you to kind of look back upon? Or have you, as you've matured and started to understand the paranormal and supernatural a little bit, um, do you look at it in a different way?
No, it's still really scary to me, and I don't feel like I've ever fully figured out what was going on,
Mhm.
um, and all of the different aspects that happened. It was just do you want me to tell you what happened, or do you want me just to
Please,
okay.
no, let's tease the audience.
I
We don't like to
know.
actually tell stories, just allude to the fact we've had them. What was your experience?
Okay, that makes it easier. So I got a Ouija board
Okay.
and I had my cousin who was about a year or two younger than me playing with me. My brother was sitting there too. Uh, I was only 12, 11 or 12. I didn't know very many people. Neither one of us knew very many people who had passed away at that point in our lives. So we didn't know
Mhm.
who to ask for, who to talk to. But my great grandfather had died, and I did know him. He had died recently. So I was like, let's ask for my great grandfather. So we're playing the Ouija board and we're asking for him, and it's moving and it's answering questions, but I'm accusing her of moving it. She's accusing me of moving it. And eventually we just are bored. We think each other's doing it. We put the game away or the board away, I should say. And then she has these three marks on her leg when we get done playing, like deep indents. And I guess depending on how you look at it, like crosses or X's, deep. It, like as
Okay.
if she had been leaning against something kind of sharp for an extended period of time. And it
Mm.
wasn't like the board was on our legs, it was on the floor in between us, so it wasn't the board. So she was really freaked out by that. And then, that's what happened to her, and then nothing really happened to me right off the bat, but then a few days later, I came home from school. We live way out in the country, middle of nowhere. I was home alone, come home, sit down at the coffee table, and I'm watching TV or do homework, whatever I'm doing there, and I hear the back door swing open. I had just come in through the back door, so I figured, "Oh, I didn't close it tight." So I got up, go to through the laundry room, shut the back door, and don't think anything of it, go back to the living room. A few minutes later, I hear the door swing open again, and now I'm thinking, "Well, that's weird." So something must be wrong with the door, like it's not latching right or something. So I get up, go back out there, look around a little bit, check the doorknob, close it, push on it. Everything seems to be fine. Walk back into the other room. I hear it open again because when it opens, it kind of swings and slams against the,
Sure.
thing. So then I was like, now I'm scared. 'Cause,
Right.
like, somebody's messing with me now, and like I
Mhm.
said, we live in the middle of nowhere, so there's not, like, people or neighbors or friends or family that's, like, walking around and just, like, joking with you or anything like that. So I was like, so now I'm really nervous, and I'm walking back in there, and door's wide open, and I go out on the back porch, and I, like, look around. Is there anybody out there? I don't see anyone, and I would be able to see somebody. And so I quickly shut it, and I lock it this time, and I make sure it's locked.
Mhm.
And as I'm walking out of the laundry room, I see down the hall is my great-grandfather standing there. Out of the corner of my
Wow.
eye, though. And then when I turn to look straight on, it's gone. But then it's followed up for, like, the next year and a half, 2 years of my life, maybe more, maybe even
Mm.
more, with nightmares and feeling of, somebody, like, always watching me and, like, stalking me and, like, just really negative things happening.
Mhm.
And I've never figured out what it was or why it was happening, and I've never, eh I quit playing the Ouija board, my mom threw it away, then it was back in my closet. I do not know how
What?
that happens. My mom could testify, she's on here. Yeah, and, I got in trouble for, like, pulling it back out, and I'm like, "I did not, like, I don't want anything to do with it anymore." And I was kinda thinking that looking back on it now, I feel like it was maybe we weren't talking to my grandfather, we were talking to somebody, and it was like a trickster of some
Mhm.
sort impersonating my grandfather. I don't know. I saw our family like, paranormal was not something that was my family was into or anything, like, nobody really thought anything of it, and so, half the family thought I needed to talk to the pastor at our church, and the other half of the family thought I needed a psychiatrist, and so we kinda did both, and, the pastor came over, I could tell he really didn't believe me, but he did give me one good piece of advice. He said that I should keep a diary of everything that happens, and so I did. And then the psychiatrist, she did believe in that kind of stuff, but she kinda thought maybe there was a trauma involved or something.
Oh.
I don't think so, but she did give me one good piece of advice. She told me to go to his grave, and whether it was him or not, ask him to make it stop. And I did do that, and eventually it did stop. So I think those were 2 good pieces of advice that I got. But, my cousin who played with me got super terrified and really turned to religion and,
Hmm.
like, has been to this day, and even I invited her to the Winchester house, I was filming something there a few weeks ago, to come her and my other cousins to come and, like, hang out and see things and stuff, and she, was, like, freaked out when they started telling ghost stories and wanted nothing to do with it and left early, so that she's still that scared from the incident
Wow.
that happened, and I went the opposite direction. I was fascinated and wanted to know more and wanted to stay in haunted locations and have an experience again. And so, yeah, that's when it started.
Very cool. Yeah, it's weird how as a child, I've talked a lot about the different things that I've seen. I think still the most frightening thing to me was we were in Texas, Victoria, Texas, visiting my great uncle and his wife. And my parents had one room, and I was sleeping in a room with my grandfather. There was two twin beds in this room. My grandfather snored like a chainsaw going through glass, right? So just
Yeah.
brutal. And I woke up in the middle of the night and rolled over because his snoring was so loud. And I happened to notice, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, of course. And I roll back away, and I'm facing the wall in the window. And all of a sudden, I see this shadow fill the door space behind me. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's one of my parents coming to check on me. And as I'm getting ready to roll over, I just hear this really creepy voice. My grandfather's right, just going to town. And I hear this voice go, I'll go to the other side to get David. That's not my mom or dad.
No.
I was freaked out and I laid
Yeah.
there frozen, and the shadow just stood in the doorway. And then finally, I just eventually closed my eyes and, did that slow pull the blanket up. My thought was, as a kid, I swear to God, this is what I used to do. I'd pull the blanket up to my head so that it was right to here, and then I'd go, thinking that whatever just came in is gonna say, "Oh, this one's dead anyway, let's move on," right? That was my mentality as a kid. But what I didn't see scared me more than anything I've ever seen in any of the investigations I've ever been in. It's kinda wild that way, isn't it? That
Yeah.
how your imagination can get to you and compound the issue that you're actually having.
Yeah, and that's what I look back on that too, how much of it was my imagination after things were getting started and how much of it really was happening. Like, I have no idea, and I have no way of knowing now, like, how to reconcile that or how to figure it out.
I got, I think, just a little street cred today with my daughter when I was putting together the show and getting ready, and she was standing over my shoulder and she goes, "Bridget Marquardt, Bridget Marquardt, Bridget Marquardt?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she goes, "She's from that TV show, Dad." And I go, "I know." And she goes, "I've watched that. You know, she did ghosty stuff on that show." I go, "That's why I got her on this show." We started laughing. She's like, "You know her?" I go, "Yeah, we just hung out in Michigan Paracon."
Yeah.
So thanks for boosting the street cred a little bit with
You're
my daughter.
welcome.
But she loved the fact that while you were on the show, you know, when you were on the Girls Next Door, that you were into the paranormal and were very open about it. It was just something that was cool. How did people around you react to that? Did they think, "Oh God, you're nuts,"
A
or were
little
they?
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I have thought it was funny and cute. Other people were like not into it. Some people were fascinated but didn't have experiences. And then there's other people, and it's come out even more later after the fact
hmm,
that also had experiences but like didn't really feel like talking about it or know who to talk
sure.
to. But yeah, I even had Barry Taff come to the mansion and do an investigation there. OG.
Doc, yeah, Dr. Barry Taff, one of my old buddies. He's a great guy. And I'm sure that was one of the thrills of his life, knowing him personally, getting to come to the Playboy Mansion must have been awesome.
But the Playboy Mansion has an original ghost story there. The original owners, way before Hef, the house was built in
Mhm.
1927, and Hef told me the original story of Mrs. Letts. Those were the original owners, the Lettses, had either jumped or fell or was pushed from the balcony onto the marble floor and died, and her ghost is in the house. I don't know if the story is true or not, but that's the
And
original ghost story.
was he just very, "Oh, whatever." Did he ever admit to seeing anything or witnessing anything?
He never admitted to witnessing anything. He never told me that the story was false. He just said it kind of, he liked spooky stuff. He loves spooky stories and stuff. So he just kind of told it to me as like a spooky story, but not like necessarily that he believed it and not that he didn't
Right.
believe it.
You know, I mean, there's obviously tragedies surrounding a lot of the history. Um, you know, for quite a while there was talk. I remember hearing about it in, I think, the 80s after Dorothy Stratton's untimely passing because of uh, uh, tumultuous relationship, you know, the rag mags of the time, the Inquirer and the World Weekly World News, and you know, there were ghosts of Dorothy Stratton stories that were popping up from time to time. Did Was there ever anything like that that you felt as though that you were being visited by bunnies and celebrities of days gone by that would still make their appearance known there in the house?
My personal experiences weren't with those types of things, but Holly does have a story being in the gym, and she was like on the treadmill and she saw a girl come out, blonde hair, kind of with a towel over her shoulder, and walk to a spot and go out like a door, I guess. But Holly was like, "I didn't know there was a door over there, but there's like some secret passageways in the mansion, and there's especially to get down to the gym and stuff." So she was like, "Oh, that must be a passageway I didn't know about." So after she got off the treadmill, she went over there and she was like looking, and she did find a button and a door popped open. And she looked and it was just a closet. So where did the girl go?
Wow. Very cool. See, that's exactly what everybody wants to believe, that is that in the Playboy Mansion there are like candelabras you pull on the wall and you know everything swings around and you're in a totally different aspect of this. That is the mansion allure, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, there's
Um,
this other cool room. You push
yeah.
a button and it looks like the wall, like the wood trim, like, elaborate wall, but you push a button and all of a sudden it pops open and there's a doorway and there's a little staircase that goes down, and it goes down to this, like, hidden prohibition wine cellar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with, like, fake stairs too that hide things in it. It's crazy. You would never know it was there.
Very cool. Very cool. Obviously, being a celebrity, having access to these things, and, you know, you have a lot of celebrities that were right around in that area. Did you hear from many of your neighbors that would talk about hauntings that took place in and around that area as well?
No, I don't we did go to a few parties at some of the neighbors' houses, but it wasn't like hang out with the neighbors or ever talk ghosts or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I didn't know. Sometimes, you find out these areas are kind of pockets of paranormal activity. And, obviously throughout California, there are many different little areas, Cielo Drive, as you know, and others where it seems to, and Dr. Barry Taff will talk about it, it seems the ground almost absorbs or holds on to this reflection of energy and will kind of trap it there.
Yeah,
Um,
well, I wouldn't be surprised, and just down the street, like, I think it's, like, 2 houses down, or I don't know how many houses down, at the end of the block of the mansion was Aaron Spelling's home, and I've heard that's haunted too.
oh, really?
Mhm.
Very cool. Well, let's talk about your kind of examination as an adult and going forward. Obviously, you had experiences throughout your life. Has there ever been a moment that you've been in now where you've thought, "This is not for me. This is not a place I ever want to return."
Mm, no. The scariest place I've been with the most activity was the Myrtles Plantation,
Okay,
and I can't wait to go back, but it was so scary. Even my fiancé, who he's a skeptic big time,
right, right,
um, we were we had given up for the night. We tried to do a little bit of investigation, but nothing was happening, so we kinda gave up for the night, and we're trying to go to sleep. I had, like, a really horrible headache, and the only reason I'm mentioning that is because I think it was part of the haunting
hmm
in when I look back on it, but just, like, a terrible headache, and so I was like, "Okay, we're done. Let's just, go to bed." I was so disappointed. I'd wanted to go to the Myrtles Plantation for so long and just, like,
right,
I mean, I was getting so nothing that I was like, "Is my stuff even on? Like, are the batteries dead?" Like, just
right.
nothing, and so we went to bed, and then we heard, like, pounding up the stairs, like somebody was running up the stairs, and we're the only ones with access to those stairs, so, like, open the door, and there's nobody out there. The room just, like, got so heavy and thick, and then we could hear, like, what sounded like furniture moving, but we were on the top floor, and we could hear, like, kids laughing and playing, and every time we heard something, like, he'd grab my arm and go, "Did you just hear that?" And I'd grab his arm and go, "Oh my god, did you just hear that?" And we were just, like, the whole night, and when it got really crazy, I was like, "What time is it?" And he's like, it was like 3 something, of course, right? And then we sat there in terror, just, like, grabbing each other's arms, and I was too my headache hurt so bad that I couldn't even, like, get up and investigate, and that's why I say I think it was part of the haunting. I don't think that
hmm
whatever it was wanted me to. It waited till we were in bed until I was, like, just not feeling up to it anymore, and so we just sat there holding each other, terrified in bed, going, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Oh my god, did you just hear that?" And I remember
How
I had
did
to go.
how did that affect him afterwards being a skeptic? I mean, 1, 2 little things, "Oh, that might be the neighbors," or "That might be this or that," right? With that much activity taking place, how does he dismiss that as a skeptic?
Well, he didn't dismiss it. He's just like, "There's definitely something going on there. Like, I don't know what it is." And then he did say, "Do you think that they, like, play a soundtrack or something? Like, maybe they stage this kind
Mm,
of?" And I was like, "No." Like, it was like those noises where you could feel it too. Like, you
mhm,
hear, the furniture moving, but you kind of feel that little vibration too. Like, I felt like there's no way this is a recording.
right.
And then the next morning, they do, biscuits in the gift shop, so of course, we have to go down, can't miss that, even though we were so tired, and there was a group of group of people at a table, and they were like, "Was that you guys making all that noise last night?" And we're like, "It wasn't us." And then the staff were like, "What room did you stay in?" And we told them what room, and they were like, "Oh, you guys made it through the whole night? The last 2 people to stay in that room didn't make it through the night."
Oh, that's awesome.
So I felt like I needed a shirt saying, "I survived the Myrtles
Yeah,
Plantation."
no doubt. That's very cool. It reminds me, there's
Yeah.
a place here in Minnesota called Thayer's Bed and Breakfast, and it was up in Annandale, Minnesota. And I was first invited there to be a part of this kind of psychic opening weekend. And I was very skeptical of the whole psychic realm at the beginning of my journey in 2006 doing this, but I wanted to go up there and there were some cool people. And we go up and just crazy type activity. And one of the stories the lady was telling me, she was, yeah, we had a couple of you non-believers in here. And I said, well, I'm a believer. I'm just a skeptical believer. I think people overreact sometimes. She goes, oh, no doubt. She goes, and we had this guy. He'd been here numerous times, never had anything paranormal take place. And finally, he called me out about it and said, I think you're just a liar. I think you're just using this as a way to get people to come into your bed and breakfast, and you don't need to. It's a cool building. It's a great historic little site. You don't lie like that. And then that night, her alarms went off and she went over there to check. He had left in the middle of the night.
Mm.
And it took her a couple days to find out, and she's since passed away, but this was the story she told at the time. Um, the guy was in bed and tossing and turning, and he rolled over, and there was a figure standing at the end of his bed with a top hat or a bowler. And he looked, the spirit looked at him, nodded, tipped his hat, and then just kind of evaporated in front of him. Boom, the guy was out the door. That was the end of it for him. He said, and she was laughing. She goes, so it's you non-believers. And I saw some of the weirdest uh, exchanges between these mediums. They were all just supposed to walk around and write notes without talking to one another of what they were experiencing. And I thought, this is fascinating. So I'm going along and I'm taking my notes and I'm noticing things they're getting excited about that to me look very mundane. They take a picture of the mirror and they'd catch this wispy thing behind it. And I showed them on 4 or 5 pictures. You just caught the glue that reflected back behind the mirror.
Mm.
Oh, okay. But then they start talking. They're like, all right, I was on the second floor landing. Did anybody see the bride? And like 8 people raise their hand and they've all got it written in their notebook. They all saw the bride standing on the landing.
Wow.
Then I don't want to explain it. I just want to say, did anybody see Spider-Man? And half the audience raised their hand. And I'm like, whoa, Spider-Man. What do you mean? I love Spider-Man. And what it was a guy in a formal suit who scrambled up the wall and onto the ceiling. And when he was up there, his head did that like 360-degree
Oh,
turnaround. And they all described it the same way. Totally,
amazing.
totally weird, right? And then I had to spend the night in there.
I
That was one
love
of those.
it.
That's one of those. Then you're sitting there and you're like, I don't want to know this because now I'm just questioning everything that's going on. But it's so cool when you get into those environments and they do come alive and there's
Yeah.
something going on. Now, do you think that in those instances, are we really dealing with dead people in the sense of they're dead, they're out of their physical form and they're roaming around? Or do you think this is more of time slip phenomena?
Well, I think maybe both can be going on, right? Like,
Hmm.
not mutually exclusive. For my situation at the Myrtles Plantation, I definitely felt like there was I definitely f well, I mean, I guess I don't know, but I definitely felt like it was somebody from the past of the house there. I
Gotcha.
definitely felt it was a dead person back.
But did you feel like they were there doing things to get your attention, or were you just hearing a day in the life of one of the Myrtle Plantation, people
They
like you were hearing it in its own time era?
maybe the sounds we were hearing, but I also definitely felt very strongly, and so did my fiancé, that somebody was in the room with us, for
Ugh.
sure. Like, it was just that feeling, like, I was so scared to even peek my eyes open because I was afraid that somebody was standing there. Like, I felt that strongly, somebody is in here with us, 100%.
Freaky. Very weird. Hey, let's make a quick mention. Bridget does host Ghost Magnet with Bridget Marquardt. I've got a link for that on today's program so that you can find it. You also host another very popular talk show, Girls Next Level. Tell our listeners a little bit about that, Bridget.
That is, Holly Madison and I, we were both on Girls Next Door together, and we are going through and breaking down each episode of Girls Next Door.
Is it fun to kind of revisit something like that and have that chance to kind of review and do that, or is it? I mean, knowing all the changes and the loss of Hef, is it kind of weird to replay that now?
It's both. It's really fun, and it's fun reminiscing. It's fun reminiscing with a good friend and talking about old times. But then there's also really hard things to talk about, and
Mhm.
knowing that Hef is gone too, and the mansion is basically gone as well. So there's hard things to talk about too. So it's a little bit of both.
Well, we've got links for those. You're gonna stay with us, right? You're gonna talk horror movies
Yeah,
and
sure.
the season. We'll do that. Jamie Kaler, Jason Gowin, they're gonna join us. We've got upon further review. We've got other fun stuff to talk about. But first, let's take a look at this.
Urban's Edge Tattoo Aftercare is the first ethically sourced, all-natural, vegan, and organic tattoo care line on the market. All of our products are formulated by leading experts in the skincare industry and are developed especially to nourish, enhance, and preserve your tattoos. Our tattoo enhancing balms are non-greasy and the perfect consistency for daily use. They're absorbent, hydrating, restorative, and are guaranteed to bring life back into your artwork. Visit www.urbansedgetattoo.com to order your starter kit today. That's www.urbansedgetattoo.com.
Don't forget, this coming weekend is the season finale of Ghosts of Devil's Perch. New episodes every Sunday on Travel Channel and Discovery Channel.
Hey, it's Chris Jericho here, just reminding you about the four-leaf clover. Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea, the fourth voyage, leaving February 2nd from Miami to Great Stirrup Key, our very own private island. This is going to be the biggest and best Jericho cruise ever, with the biggest lineup, the most fun. I guarantee it. Come join us for the vacation and the party of a lifetime. ChrisJerichoCruise.com. Cabin's still available. I want to see you there.
Haunted Magazine, issue 35, is out 6th September, featuring the feminine macabre, vampires, the Gold Camp Road, Jamaica Inn, ESP, Australia's spookiest spectres. Richard Estep investigates Shepton Mallet Prison. The Roswell Incident, 75 years on. The Burden of Lizzie Borden by Sam Beltrusis. The seminal Ghost Watch hits 30. Plus an in-depth chat with ghost hunter Barry Guy. Order in print from the Haunted Magazine website or visit WH Smith in the UK, Barnes & Noble in the US, and outlets in Canada and Australia. Also available in the app stores. And remember, don't be normal, be paranormal.
Welcome to the Paranormal Couples Haunted Museum of Objects, Oddities, and Curiosities. Curated by the paranormal couple themselves, Cody Ray Despian and Satori Hawes. This unique traveling exhibition visits haunted locations and conventions around the United States and features up to 150 presumed haunted artifacts from the museum. These objects have been hand-selected by Cody and Satori themselves due to their intriguing yet eerie spooky stories. Come view items from around the world, including tribal artifacts, occult items, true crime memorabilia, haunted dolls, clowns, and so much more. If you're a fan of the paranormal or history in general, then there's something here for you. For more information on the museum and upcoming events, be sure to visit us at paranormalcouple.com and follow us on Facebook at the Paranormal Couples Haunted Museum.
Ooh, scary kids. Haunted
No.
museums, haunted dolls. Do you have any kind of creepy haunted memorabilia you keep?
I don't keep any of that stuff, and when people try to give me something, I'm like, "Nope." I remember I was at the, Washoe Club in Virginia City, and the bartender gave me, like, a nail or something from there. I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna leave this here."
I know the guys you want to give it to. Send them to these two guys. The Parents Lounge, Jason Gowin, Jamie Kaler. They have a show that you can check out live Tuesday nights. We have a link for the Parents Lounge on today's program guide. They're joining us now, ladies and gentlemen. Comedian, actor, and fellow Ginger, the one and only Jamie Kaler.
Hey, terrible. You guys, look how great you guys look. I mean, this is. I have 2 kids, and I'm just.
I like your background. Don't pick on yourself.
Claire made that for me.
Sure she did. Why is it signed Jamie in the corner?
Um,
All right, we got another chucklehead joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Jason Gowin, what's with the smoky haze on your screen? Are you using Vaseline like you're on Dynasty and you're trying?
What
to
I do in my own time is none of your business, David.
All right, I have invited these two knuckleheads on my show. It's our first double feature, creature feature, double feature that I wanted them to take a peek at here. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. Let's share it with the rest of the world.
It's time now for Upon Further Review.
Oh, I was excited about this. When I saw that there were 2 banging movies, both set in the Wild West, I knew the only 2 guys I could trust to watch these were you guys. And when I sent it over to Jason, he goes, Jamie Kaler is going to hate you, Dave Schrader. You were going to ruin his day. And he probably is not going to continue to do these. And I said, I don't believe that. I know Jamie Kaler, and I think he likes a good challenge. So I tasked you both. I tasked you both with an interesting set of movies. Let's take a look at Jamie's movie. Here's an interesting trailer. This is the original trailer. So again, they're not always big on dialogue, folks. For those of you watching, you'll get the vibe for it. For those of you listening at home, lots of gunshots and screams.
A vampire is a ghost which leaves its resting place at night to suck the blood of living victims.
And beautiful. Yes, I would like to see her.
Mama. No, Mama, no.
Louis, stagecoach was attacked.
Did you ever pull a gun on me again?
It was the vampire. I knew it. I knew there would be trouble.
I chose you for my mate.
You must not let your Betty be alone with him.
Mine. You killed her.
Billy the Kid versus Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie.
I told you.
Talk to me, brother. What did you think of this? John Carradine, Dracula.
It's arguably one of the greatest films ever made, and it's truly, it's really a rom-com at heart because it's just 2 guys fighting over one girl, and yeah, one's Billy the Kid and one's Dracula, but in a way, it's just a deep down love story, and it's fantastic. Bridget, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, it doesn't get any better. Here's what's great. It's Billy the Kid. And in a Tarantino way, he's kind of changed history because we all know he was shot as a young man, right? By what's his name? The sheriff who
Pat Garrett.
Pat Garrett kills Billy the Kid. But in this version of history, he's a 36-year-old guy. And she goes, he's like, I can't marry you and settle down. I'm Billy the Kid. And she goes, no, here, you're going to be William H. Bonney, which, by the way, everybody knows is Billy the Kid. So it's not the best of aliases. And then she's excited about being Betty Bonney. And then David Carradine's dad, Kung Fu's dad, drops in. The whole thing is because he plays Dracula. He fights Billy the Kid, but his son becomes Kung Fu. His other son becomes Wild Bill Hickok on Deadwood. And his other son is the leader of Revenge of the Nerds. I mean, there's a whole, the spin-offs galore of the Carradine brothers. They're the Long Riders. There's a lot of history here. And at the end of the day, I would bet money on Dracula and the Carradines versus faux Billy the Kid. So it was great, though. I loved it. So thank you so much for letting me see something like this. It was fantastic.
All right, 1 Phantom, no good. 5 Phantoms. This is right up there with The Sixth Sense. Where do you rate us on this one?
Well, I mean, more Phantoms then. And does everyone know how David Carradine left this earth? Does everyone know?
Yeah, yeah.
Bridget, do you know how David Carradine left this earth?
I do.
In Thailand. So that alone, just that story alone of David Carradine gives this every Phantom I have. So it was fantastic. Yeah, I love the Carradines, you cannot go wrong. And although John Carradine apparently, do you know he made like the 3rd most films in history? Who appears in the most films in history? Anybody?
Stan Lee. That would have been one of
No,
my
that's not a bad guess. Eric Roberts. He's in like 400 films. Danny Trejo's in like 380. And then John Carradine's right in there, and he goes, he only regretted making 1 film of the 400, and that one is Billy the Kid versus Dracula. But honestly, like if you're mixing up some cocktails and having like a Halloween party, it's so crazy funny. It's like Ed Wood. It's got an Ed Wood vibe to it of like pulls the string, So I don't know.
It is horribly overacted. I love the fact one of my favorite scenes is when Dracula gets into the stagecoach with them, right? And there's no way, and you've brought this up before, there's no way a scene like this could play in modern theaters. It's like an 8-minute scene of them just riding along, having a conversation, and they're all blabbing, and Dracula's just kind of sitting there listening. And then she goes, "Oh, and I'm going to see my niece. She's beautiful and 18. Would you like to see a picture?" And Carradine goes, "She's beautiful and 18. Yes, I'd like to see the picture."
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious, like in the scenes where he was with the 18-year-old, and he's got to be at least 122 years old.
Right.
There was no method acting. He was living his own. He was in the moment. I would argue he's Hefner-like in that way, and he brought a little hue to the role. And he was. It was really fun, actually. It's silly, goofy, ridiculous. It's Plan 9 from Outer Space, where it's like it's The Room. It's so bad that it's actually ridiculously funny. So yeah, and it was terrifying. But at the end of the day, you're like, it's Dracula versus Billy the Kid. It's like when Batman faces off against Superman, and you're like, well, you're a human and he's a Superman. And then in the movie, you kill Superman. Didn't buy any of it.
Makes sense.
And this is the way. At the end, it's like he just turns into a bat, flies away, then comes back in the middle of the night and kills Billy the Kid. So it seemed like an unfair.
I got to be honest with you, Kaler. This time, I felt like I gave you the superior film to view.
Yeah, honestly,
given the choice.
I told Jason that I said, Jason's going to hate you for this. And Jason's never going to talk to you again. And he's going to refuse to do any of these. Honestly, can I be dead seriously honest right now, Dave?
Yes.
The only reason the two of us even did this is because Bridget's here. And we just wanted to say hi. Hi, Bridget.
Hi. Well, I have a David Carradine story. I did Celebrity Paranormal Project with him.
That's right.
Oh, that's right.
That's
so
right. How was that?
Went ghost hunting with him.
Was he as intense a human as he appears to be?
Yes, he started out. He had this like jacket on with all the fringe, the leather jacket, and he had this giant flute thing that was like I don't even know he had a special name for it. He was playing it when we arrived, and yeah.
I also used those when
he had a flute thing that he had a special name for.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
And it was big.
I think all of us have something like that. I have a flute thing. I have a very special name for it.
Mine's like a piccolo.
When you see his father, though, like David Carradine in this, and then you kind of, I looked up David Carradine or John Carradine, who's the father, and you see the life. He had 4 wives. It was a disaster. It was a mess. And so you see how he grew up. And then David Carradine, of course, has 5 wives and said goodbye from Thailand. But you can see maybe the actor's life is not all it's cracked up to be.
Not at all. Well, let's give people a taste of what I sent your partner to go see. This was Jason's movie. This is Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter. A terror shock show that rocked the West. I do love that the Frankenstein monster used the Captain Kirk double fist to knock
He
out.
did. That's a double
Jesse
axe
James.
handle. Yeah, the axe handle
Yeah.
smash. He did it.
That what it's called, the double axe handle. I love that.
Yeah, all the good people call it the Captain Kirk because that's the official punch of the Shat.
Don't push
all right,
your stuff
Jason.
on me, guy. All right. First, I was very impressed at how much tail Jesse James was pulling.
Really? In that movie, there was a lot of love making, huh?
Twice. All but the one girl's mother. So like 2/3 of the women in the movie, Jesse James was all up in their business.
Well, I guess that's the precursor to the 70s horror genre, which was all about sex and death.
Also, it was a name because it wasn't Frankenstein's daughter, it was his granddaughter.
Oh, really? That's even more confusing than the title leads on, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
My wife is concerned that I keep getting these movies from you, and she's like, why doesn't Dave like you? And
come on, this looked great. I love genre mashing movies. Do you guys know? Here's a weird twist. Do you guys know that the original Godzilla versus King Kong movie was supposed to be Godzilla versus Frankenstein?
It's a bit of a height difference.
Frankenstein was supposed to be struck by lightning and imbued with these powers, and he grew, and he was supposed to fight. And at the last minute, the rights dropped out, so they had to settle on King Kong. But originally, we were going to see Godzilla fighting Frankenstein's monster. So I love when there are bending movies like this, and the concept that two of the biggest Wild West legends. I love the fact that you've got two heartless, ruthless killers that are really kind of made out to be the heroes of both of these movies. Billy the Kid and Jesse James are going up against, you make something even more evil than what they do, and it's okay.
Jesse James was less of a killer and more of just a really good friend in the movie. He was just really want to help his friend.
That's it. Isn't that the way of the world?
I love that the first one it's verses, like, but his is just meets. It's like
it was 90% Western.
Meets Frankenstein's daughter. It's like a Tinder date where she swiped right, and then they went out for a couple of drinks and maybe a crudité plate, and then it didn't go great. They had a terrible Tinder date.
And it was just a sprinkling of racism. It was, it was just weird. I mean, it was a lot going on.
So tasteful racism. I like that.
I mean, it was
good. God.
It's
that
not
Frankenstein
racism
monster,
you take home to your family.
Dude, they chose the right body for that Frankenstein monster. Because back in those days, I mean, that was a rarity to see a guy like a bodybuilder like that.
He looked like he had a Betty Crocker pie crust just crimped around the top of his head.
He did. Honestly, he may have. That may have been exactly what it was.
Maybe I picked the wrong night to ask you, Bridget, to be a movie reviewer for me going forward. Now that you've seen what I send my friends to watch.
No.
You've already committed.
What to say now?
Yeah. All right. So, Jason, 1 Phantom, no good. 5 Phantoms. This is right up there with Billy the Kid versus Dracula. Where are you going to put this one?
So for the horror aspect of it, I'm going to give it 2 Phantoms. But for the love story aspect, I'm going to give it a solid 4.
Wow.
Can you tell we're both fathers of little children? The fact that he goes, man, he was getting a lot of action. And then you go, well, he had sex twice in the movie. And he's like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I have 3 little kids twice. I mean, good gosh. That was back in my 20s. That's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So now we've decided to come together on this, discuss some of our favorite horror movies for the season. Kind of one last offshoot of this. I don't know if you guys saw the last iteration of the Lone Ranger movie. I've been a huge Lone Ranger fan my whole life. So I went to see the one, and unfortunately, Armie Hammer's in it as the Lone Ranger. Johnny Depp as the Tonto. Talk about weird racism. And overall, I thought the movie was really good and entertaining. But man, they go heavy into a supernatural slant. It's all about kind of imbuing people with supernatural abilities, and that the Lone Ranger came back from the dead, and Tonto has magical powers. It's really kind of a twist on the whole supernatural genre. So if you're looking for another Wild West paranormal themed movie, I'd recommend you see that and just kind of put out of your mind what you've now found out about Armie Hammer.
Amy and I say something that led us to believe we were looking for more of that?
No, not you. The audience may be looking for something to make up for the last two.
Well, it's in the title. He's the Lone Ranger. So the Rangers get massacred, but he's the one that survives, right? Isn't that how the story goes? And then Tonto, Tonto's got some potions. I think he's got going potions. I want to hear what Bridget's favorite horror films are.
Well, let's get to it now. Looking at these lists, I was actually very surprised at how different the three guys on this were. Bridget matched closely with you, Jamie, in her horror movie choices. The first ones coming out of the chute match you ring for ring. You've got Halloween, Friday the 13th, The Exorcist, and The Strangers. So out of your top 10, both of you pick 4 of the exact same movies. So
because she's a genius. I mean, she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Bridget? The Strangers. You know, it's like I was a kid. I saw Halloween at the theater. I was like 14, terrifyingly scared. But it's like, you're like, well, that's not going to happen. And Friday the 13th, you're like, well, that's not really going to happen. The Strangers, one of the scariest films I've ever seen, because you're like, oh no, this could happen.
And it did happen. It's based off a true story.
It's so terrible.
It's so scary. And the scariest line to me is when she said, "Why are you doing this to us?" And they said, "Because you were home."
Yes, it's giving me the chills. Just you say,
yes,
you're remaking it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, they are.
Right?
They're remaking The Strangers. Yeah, I think Yeah. They're remaking.
Didn't they already remake that once?
Well, they have a part 2.
It was a remake of a foreign film, and now I think they're remaking it again. It's so terrifying. Like that to me,
it's scary.
Like I like stories like that are you're like just terrifying. We're like, no, that could really happen, man. That really could happen.
Exactly.
Well, after your connections on those first 4, she jumps into a 1970s horror classic, Black Christmas. Have you guys seen that?
I know Black Christmas. I'd forgotten that one though, but yes, yeah. That's a good pull. That's a good one.
Another thing that could happen. I mean, the phone calls, somebody watching you. It's so scary.
And then she gets all fancy on us.
Don't talk to strangers. Is that one? Get out of the house.
Yeah.
He's in the house.
Same kind of premise. So scary.
Yeah.
Bridget gets fancy on us for her next pick, though. She goes all auteur. She goes straight to El Orfanato.
I do love that movie.
Is that The Orphan? Basically, the original version of the movie, The Orphan?
Yeah.
Did you like the American remake version?
I don't know if I saw the American remake.
Okay.
The little girl that they had play, and I don't know if it's the same one, where the little girl is an orphan that they adopt, and then slowly through the movie you find out she's a little person pretending to be a child. Is that the same thing with El Orfanato?
No. This woman goes back. She was adopted when she lived in an orphanage when she was younger, and she goes back to buy the orphanage, and it's abandoned, and she has her little son with her, and he has like a imaginary friend that he sees and is talking about him, and one night her son disappears. I don't want to give the whole movie away, but
I've never seen
maybe
that.
the imaginary friend was not so imaginary.
Yeah, all right. Well, there's the American one is The Orphan, and they just did a prequel to The Orphan with the same actress, and it's more like that kind of it's twisted. It's a twisted deal. But all right, you've got then the Insidious series. I like that you lump them all together
Because I like
of
them. Yeah, I like them.
Shaun of the Dead.
Oh, great movie.
Yes.
To me, it's a comedy, but yes, I'll give
It
you
is a comedy, but I didn't know if he said that for the Halloween season. So I don't
he said Halloween
One
season.
of the best. I couldn't agree more. It is. It's so hard to mix comedy and horror, and they did it.
Yeah.
It's
I
really
love when they're going through the record albums to figure out what they can throw, and then they're like, that's Purple Rain, man. Don't throw that.
good. It's so funny. They're in the pub. Oh, you know what? I got to break that one out for Halloween and watch it. That's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Then Trick or Treat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Now
I
that was
like
kind of
that
an
a lot.
anthology one, right?
It's an anthology, yeah.
Yeah.
Deep pull. I don't know that one either. I don't think I saw that one.
It's good. It's really good.
Okay.
And then, boy, coming out of it, American Psycho.
I mean, it's one of my favorite
remember that
movies,
one.
no matter what time of year. But
I watch it all the time.
it's
Watch
always on.
I just actually bought the book. I had never read the book, and I was wanting to
No, me
read it.
neither.
I just bought the Bret Easton Ellis book to read it. Yeah.
When are you going to have time to read that, Jamie?
Oh, I won't. I'll carry it around for a couple months, and then I'll just put it down, and it'll never get read. But I'm holding it in my hand, and people think I'm reading it, but it's
Yeah. It's all
I
about
like
the look of
the
trying to hold
allure.
it.
Yeah, got it.
Our son Jack actually watched that movie and was so into Patrick Bateman's character, and he could do this dead-on Patrick Bateman speech. That whole part when he's playing the Huey Lewis and the News album and preparing to murder the guy. And that was such a whacked out scene.
Yeah,
such a great flick. So weird. Totally bizarre movie.
I
will say.
Sport, I believe it was. It's so good.
Yeah.
He does the Whitney Houston run too. Whitney Houston. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I have some questions about the end of that movie though, because I don't, and that's kind of why I'm reading the book. I always think it's in his head. I don't.
Is it though?
That's the question.
I know.
What do you think? Do you think he really? Because Paul's I don't know. They find Paul. The whole thing is, I love it because it's so questionable. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's what everybody loves about it. Like, did it happen, or is this all in his head? And that's the what you're left with every time you watch it. Every time,
and you're
still
like,
don't know.
Still
like this time, I'm going to figure it out. Yeah, not
you
gonna
know
happen.
that there's another movie, and I can't remember who's in it, but there's not the Mila Kunis American Psycho 2. But there's another movie made by the same director, by the same author, and Christian Bale's brother is in that movie.
Oh,
the character, yeah. So it's like sharing the same Marvel universe. It's very strange, yeah.
Well, the scarier one he wrote is Less Than Zero. Watch Robert Downey Jr. go through Less Than Zero, and it might even be scarier than American Psycho.
Good.
You ever see that one, Bridget? Less Than Zero with Robert Downey Jr.?
I'm not sure.
James Spader's the drug dealer, Jamie Gertz, Andrew McCarthy, and Robert Downey Jr. is fantastic. And it's called Less Than Zero, and it's they're like Richie Hollywood, Beverly Hills kids, and they discover drugs. I believe that's how it.
Yeah, it's like Tim Burton did a John Hughes movie.
Yeah.
It's just totally dark and turned on its head.
Yeah, it gets dark.
All right, so Jamie, you matched her Halloween, Friday the 13th, The Strangers, The Exorcist. You've then jumped into The Ring, and you were telling me today that's done it for you. That was one of the scariest movies.
I think The Ring's arguably one of the scariest films ever made. I don't know why. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I don't know. It just caught me. I remember, like, I chose movies that I remember visceral experiences of seeing.
Interesting.
My sister, when I saw Halloween, I think that was the top of my list because I was 14. I couldn't get in. It was R-rated. My older sister had to take me. She brings me. It's like a 10 o'clock show in Hooksett, New Hampshire. This place is packed. We sit. There's only 2 seats. I'm in the front row with my sister. I'm 14. Like, the credits start, and she goes, I can't watch this. I'll be at the bar next door. And she got up and left. And I watched Halloween alone in the front row at 14. And I still I remember getting out of the theater, and then the bar was through a little woods next door. I had to walk through some woods to the bar where my sister was pounding drinks, I think, so she could drive me. This is back in the day when we could do that. And then I'm so scared. Yeah, it was absolutely terrifying. It's a great movie.
My dad was a huge fan of the first Halloween, my dad and mom. Yeah. And they finally let me watch it when it was on TV. And we didn't have that internet. We didn't know about upcoming movies. And all of a sudden we heard about The Day After Halloween.
Yeah.
And it was coming to the theater the day after Halloween. And my dad's told my buddy Rick and I, hey, I'm going to the movie. You guys want to go see the sequel to Halloween? And we're like, yeah. So we get in, get our popcorn, get our sodas the day after Halloween. Not a sequel to Halloween. It is lesbian porn, murders. My dad sat there with his jaw on the floor, and he looked at my buddy Rick, whose parents were very religious, and he's like, please don't tell anybody I brought you to this movie.
Oh my gosh.
Still a great movie though, right? Probably.
It sounds good.
It was unique. That's for sure.
Let the trailers, like you just went to movies and you didn't really know what you were walking into, and you kind of maybe saw an ad, but there were no reviews already. Rotten Tomatoes wasn't up. You just went in and were like, oh,
that's it. Yeah. Let the Right One In. That was the next one on your list, Jamie.
The original, I like them both, and it's going to be a new miniseries, I guess, on Showtime as well. But I love that story. Do you know that one, Bridget? Let the Right One In?
I don't think so.
The little girl's a vampire, and the guy, the older man, she was a vampire as a little girl. He has to he's the one who goes out and gets the blood. You have to see it. And the original one is Swedish. They remade it as an American one, which is still with Cody Smith McPhee. It's like his first big movie, and it is. He's a little boy, and he's a loner and weak and stuff, and so she brings him in and kind of makes him her little henchman and stuff. It's so terrifying. It's great.
Alien, which I kicked myself for not thinking, and you asked me, Dave, is that a horror movie? I'm like, yes, that is a space horror movie. That first one specifically.
I saw that movie's opening day, man. That thing was the tone. He sets that tone. Ridley Scott's so brilliant. That tone is
a great movie.
It comes on, and then all of a sudden they're laughing, and once it comes out of him, you're off and running. And that thing is, it's still watching it. It's pretty amazing.
The Shining, of course. The Thing. Now, which Thing are we talking? Are we talking the Kurt Russell thing? Are we talking the
Kurt Russell one?
Okay.
Not the James Arness one.
Okay. Well, there's a new one that just came out a few years ago that was like a prequel to The Thing, which was an identical remake of The Thing, but leads into The Thing.
Yeah. I also love films. It's kind of like Lord of the Flies, where you are trapped in an environment as a group and you cannot get out. And then some kind of problem comes in and it turns people against each other because nobody's understanding what's happening. And then it goes awry. I think the original The Thing with the John Carpenter one is fantastic.
Agreed. And then your final movie, Silence of the Lambs.
I saw it opening day, and I had no idea what it was. And we're standing in line. Actually, I saw a screening of it before it even opened, and I had no idea. I just knew I loved Demi, and it was Anthony Hopkins or whatever. And you kind of knew it was a scary film. And the dude in front of me had read the book. We were standing in line, and he was trying so hard to tell the person he was with the storyline because he loved the book so much. He was like, and we were going to get into a fight. I go, dude, we're all in line to watch this movie. No, you can't stop talking about the book. And even his friend was like, yeah, this is not cool what you're doing. He's like, but it's so good. And she works for and everyone's like, shut the blank up. And the dude was trying to tell the story. And then when we get in and you watch, man, I miss the days when you watched a film and you never knew one thing about it.
Yeah.
You know, like now everyone comes out, they show clips, the guy tells stories. We know all their backstory of like Ben Affleck. Yeah, anytime you see a movie with Ben Affleck, it's hard to disassociate his private life from
That's true, yeah.
Back in those days, I saw Pulp Fiction. I saw Reservoir Dogs just off the poster. I went in to see Reservoir Dogs off the poster, and I was like, oh my God, like those experiences of absorbing films like that are in the past.
I'll tell you, though, as an animal lover, I was severely disappointed in that movie because there wasn't, I remember, one dog in it. Not one.
Not one.
Jason, I'm keeping your list to last
okay.
Because it's a gem. It's a gem.
Well,
yeah. Plus, I need to feel better about my list. So hold on. I've got one of my first ones off is Salem's Lot, the original TV miniseries movie. Over 2 nights, you had to watch this with commercials. And I don't remember ever being that scared at a movie ever since. Did you guys see the original Salem's Lot with James Mason and David Stoll and Lance Kerwin. Did you ever see that, Bridget?
I thought if it's the same movie I'm thinking of, I think I tried to start it and didn't like it. But maybe I'm wrong on what movie it was.
Rob Lowe did a remake of it that was no bueno.
Okay.
The original, you got to kind of watch it and just kind of throw yourself back into forgetting everything you know about horror movies now.
Yeah.
And just let yourself go into this story. I just watched a whole documentary on the making of this, and it was amazing. But this movie captivated America. This was only the second Stephen King movie made.
Mm-hmm.
The first one being Carrie, that blew up. Then they had this movie and they bought the rights to it and they didn't know what to do with it. And they ended up making it into a mini series, and it just destroyed TV ratings. People had never seen it, and it was terrifying people. There were warnings about this. Such a cool movie. So the original Salem's Lot, of course, Night of the Living Dead, the original black and white. That to me is just one of my favorite movies, and I'm going to be showing it on the Paranormal 60 channel on the Friday before Halloween. So right after our show's off the air at 11 p.m. Central, you could tune in and watch Night of the Living Dead. I'll be cuddled up on the big, comfy, cosmic couch of love with you, the viewers. We can all watch it together and comment along and enjoy that movie. And I've got a bunch of movies spread out this month that'll be popping up every Friday night. I'll be out of town in Ireland and Butte, Montana, but they'll be cool movies. One of my favorites, I Was a Teenage Werewolf, airs this coming Friday, so make sure you check it out with Michael Landon. Another werewolf movie, American Werewolf in London. You talk about a comedy horror movie, that's right up there. Have you seen that one, Bridget?
I have. In fact, I saw it when I was young, and I remember being so scared. Like, just I wasn't even supposed to be watching it, but I just caught like parts of it, and I was so scared.
Griffin Dunn
elements too. It's almost like a precursor to Shaun of the Dead.
Right.
Even though and boy, Jenny Agutter, that was actually one of my first major crushes. Gosh, I loved her, and I love that movie. It's a great film. It's still really, it kind of holds up.
I'll rattle through these other ones. Lost Boys. I don't think we even have to explain that. That is just one of the classic vampire flicks. Here's one not many people have seen, and I'm not talking about the Nicole Kidman The Others. There's a movie called The Other. It is John Ritter's first movie. It is terrifying. It is about twin boys, and one is a good seed, one is a bad seed. Oh, I know, Jason. I'm trying to find a way for you to watch the movie, and I'm going to have you, since you have twins.
You don't have to. I'm living
seed, one bad seed. You're going to have to see that. Audrey Rose. I remember being terrified of that when they showed it on TV as a kid. Jeepers Creepers, the first one. I love that movie.
First one's great. Justin Long, right? Is that Justin Long?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah. That's a really, really scary movie.
It's a good movie.
Good psychological one. Another one, Joyride. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Candy cane, right? The voice. You've got Buffalo Bill in that movie. I forget. He's the guy that does the voice of the truck driver stalking them throughout the entire
Ted
thing.
Levine?
Yes, Ted Levine.
Did I ever? I worked with him on Monk.
Oh my God.
I put the
love
bad guy
Monk.
in Monk one time, and
Right.
Ted Levine's there, and I get to set, and every single person I run into goes, "Don't ask Ted Levine about Silence of the Lambs." Everybody that says, have they told you? Don't ask Ted about Silence of the Lambs. Don't ask Ted about Silence of the Lambs. And I go, oh, absolutely, I would never do that. And so I'm sitting with him for like 4 days in the village or whatever. And so he finally goes, like, hey, you do stand-up comedy, don't you? And I go, do. And he goes, oh, I used to do Steppenwolf theater. And he still has that crazy ass voice. And then he goes, and then he's just started telling me Silence of the Lambs stories. It was crazy. He told me, this is the greatest. He goes, he books it out of Steppenwolf Theater in Chicago, and they go to like a table read in New York or something. And the set designer comes up to him and shows him photos of the haunted house that he lives in as the character. Remember, he's in the house with the moths and everything. And he goes, oh my God, that's the haunted house in the town he grew up in. He was like,
awesome.
You might have to do a paranormal investigation of this house, because he goes, that was a house nobody would go in. Like, it was the scariest house in his hometown. And for just the weirdest coincidence that they scouted that location and found that crazy house. And that was the house that became
That's bizarre.
crazy. And the whole time I'm like, Ted Levine's telling me Silence of the Eagles. We're doing Silence of the Lambs. I was like, dude, it was nuts. Yeah. So
well, when you watch Joyride, they actually show you clips with other people they had do the voice. And nobody can come close to it. That unique timbre of his voice and that kind of almost like a cleft palate sound, the way he, oh my God, it's terrifying the way he does it.
Yeah.
And then the Hitcher. The Hitcher's my other one. That is Rutger Hauer, C. Thomas Howell. And I will tell you this quick story. I saw this. I worked at a movie theater in Illinois for Cineplex Odeon Theaters in Bloomingdale at the Stratford Square Mall. I was a usher with the black dicky and red jacket. You'd love it, Jamie. And I was working it. I kept going in and watching it. And then when I went to California that summer, I was invited to a party at CBS. And I got a chance, and I'm standing in line for this buffet, and right in front of me is Rutger Hauer. Leather jacket, built like a tank. And I just seen this movie, and I'm like so nervous. And I go, "Excuse me, Mr. Hauer?" And he just turns slowly and just gives me this profile. And like my blood ran cold, and I go, "My name's Dave Schrader, and I'm a usher at a movie theater in Illinois, and I've seen The Hitcher 20 times. You are the scariest actor I've ever seen in my life." And he turns around and gets this huge smile, and he goes, "Nice to meet you, Dave Schrader from Illinois." He shakes my hand, talks to me through the whole line. Hand to God, best night of my life. I got to sit down with him at the celebrity table. Carol Burnett, Carl Reiner, Robin Williams, Whoopi Goldberg, and Rutger Hauer. And he introduces me to everybody. I got to make Robin Williams laugh that night. Best night of my life, and got to hang out with Rutger freaking Hauer.
Amazing.
All because all I said was, "You are the scariest actor I've ever seen." And he absolutely loved me from that moment on. He was such a nice guy. He is terrifying looking in person. He is very intimidating.
Yeah.
But he lights up. Beautiful blue eyes, just a great guy, and just kind of all of a sudden he's sparkling instead of being this brooding leather jacket wearing killer. But that movie, if you have not seen the original Hitcher, folks, go back and watch it. It is a total mind screw. Forget Freddy Krueger. Yeah.
They tried, but the problem was they didn't take into effect that he's the movie. The reason it's so terrifying is because he's doing this thing to C. Thomas Howell and it's so evil. He's great.
And Bridget, you talk about movies that could happen. We hear about these horrific hitchhiker stories, right? Of what happens when you cross the line and stuff. This movie was right up there for me. Totally terrifying. So those are my lists. Now,
okay, I want to just preface this before we start that I misunderstood the assignment.
No, you did not. I said the best movies for the season. I'm totally just Halloween season. I put no addendum, not scariest, not TV movies, not cinematic. So,
can you kick Jamie out before we do this?
No, I'm listening to every word of this, and I am going to humiliate you after this list is put out. We have the entire show humiliating you and your choices.
I'm going to start off with the good ones right off the bat. Obviously, Ghostbusters, classic. Gotta love it. Ghostbusters. Cabin in the Woods, fantastic.
Actually, I forgot about that one. That's a great choice, dude.
It really is.
Great choice. Surprisingly good movie.
Arachnophobia, another gem. Yeah,
I forgot that one. I'm terrified of spiders. That's a great choice.
Amityville Horror, the original with Margot and James Brolin.
Did we talk about it? I went to see that opening day. It's absolutely terrifying. And then as you're leaving, you're like, wait a minute. The only people who died were at the first 30 seconds of the film, right? No one else? Okay, just checking. And you're like, oh yeah.
Surviving it is.
You're like, why am I scared of this movie? And then later you're like, it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Jason and I share an interesting angle on this, right? Because he became friends with George Lutz, the father of the story. And that had to be surreal for you. I got to meet and hang out and become good friends with Christopher Lutz, the youngest boy that survived the story. They have two different variations of what went down, but it's equally compelling. but it's interesting. I remember seeing that book, Jay Anson's book, on the counter when I was a kid, and I wanted to read it. My mom's like, no, that one's too scary. And then years later, I get to introduce my mom to Christopher Lutz, and he's calling her mom and hanging around with her and doing pictures and everything. My mom was she just thought that was one of the coolest things. All right, I've tried to sugarcoat this as much as I could. Let's go to Mr. Boogedy. I don't know that one.
It's a Disney movie. It used to air on Saturday mornings on the ABC after school, like the ABC Saturday morning show at after Bugs Bunny. It was
okay.
As a child, it was absolutely terrifying to me.
Mr. Boogedy.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Sounds like that was his imaginary friend as a child. He and Mr. Boogedy used to sit on a Saturday mornings and watch cartoons.
All right. I'm not doing this with him.
No, hang on. Scooby-Doo, the live action. That one's a good movie. That was a great realization of a childhood TV series.
My oldest son really likes that movie right now, so it's kind of a Halloween thing here.
Yeah, I'm down with it. That one's good.
Don't shut it, kid.
I don't know where to go. All right, I'm going to go my next. Listen, it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, another classic.
It's a classic.
I'll give you classic. Yes, it's it's a great. You got to watch it Halloween. Absolutely, I'm in.
Gotta look at Bridget's like she's bearing down, like she's waiting for that tidal wave to hit her. Here,
I'm not that into peanuts.
Okay. I'm not into peanuts that much myself either. But I do have a flute-like instrument that I have a very crazy name for.
Oh, that was a good callback. Well done, Kaler.
Yeah, I like to bring everything back around. I do it.
Garfield's Halloween special.
That's it. I'm out. That is a terrible one. You crazy?
It is not. No, just don't. Why don't do this to me? Don't do it.
Yeah.
David? I mean, this is David. You didn't even go like Nightmare Before Christmas or
no.
Punky Brewster, the camping episode.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Well, my only guess is that something horrible happened to you on a camping trip when you were a child. This was PTSD when you saw Punky Brewster go camping.
In the episode, they kill all her friends, and her dog fights a giant spider, and people die. It's terrible.
On Punky Brewster.
Correct.
I must have missed that.
I missed it too.
It's really intense.
Let's watch Punky Brewster high.
That's like
it's on YouTube, and I'm gonna send you the link because I'm not gonna take it.
You're like, I don't remember that episode whatsoever.
Well, it's really dark. It's really, really dark.
It's really dark. It's really the Punky Brewster camping episode. It's really dark. Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't throw in the Brady Bunch in Hawaii when the kids get abducted by Vincent Price in the cave. That's terrifying. The giant tarantula crawling on Peter's chest. Crazy. All right, so that's it, guys. That's your choices of movies.
That was your whole list?
Well, Gremlins. I forgot Gremlins is on there again.
That's a classic as well.
Classic? Is it a horror film? I don't know.
Both.
That's what he was going for. That's what Spielberg was going for.
Put The Fly on there. What else? Did you have any
Punky Brewster's camping episode?
I think Jaws is the scariest movie of all time myself. Wait, what'd you say?
He's
Punky
making
Brewster's
fun of
camping
me.
episode.
Yeah. Watch along.
Bridget,
That's
how are
it.
you? Are you okay? You want to take just take the shots, Bridget. It's fine.
Oh,
No, I'm good. I've not seen that episode of Punky Brewster. It might be super scary.
It's terrifying.
Have you
People die.
Have you ever seen any episodes of Punky Brewster?
I think I did once.
No, you didn't. But I appreciate so sweet. That's how nice she is. She's like trying to make you feel better. None of us watch Punky Brewster. There's something wrong with you.
Yes, there is.
Yes, there is.
Oh,
and it's
my
that
goodness.
episode of the show that steered this whole ship off course.
Actually, we've talked about this before. You know what the scariest movie ever made is? Mr. Mom.
What?
That poor dude has to take care of those kids. They think it's a comedy, but it's not. It's a horror
film.
Watch it again.
I will agree with you, general people, on that. Bridget Marquardt, you've got the Ghost Magnet with Bridget. You've also got the podcast Girls Next Level, and people can check both of those podcasts out. Congratulations, by the way, Girls Next Level. What, you guys are like 4 episodes in, and you've got like a quadrillion downloads already?
I know, it's been amazing. The support has been so phenomenal. Thank
Yeah,
you.
maybe you guys should rename the Parents Lounge the Boys Next Door. See if it shakes things up for you.
Sure.
No?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Why not?
You guys have something exciting. Obviously, your show, The Parents Lounge, Parents Unite, live Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Pacific time. They could check it out. You do other special edition episodes, so people should go subscribe and keep up with what you're doing. But you guys have a live comedy show coming out. Tell them how they can find out about it. I've got a link for it on today's program guide. There are a few tickets that are still available. Please discuss.
Kaler, go ahead.
You do it. Sayre, Pennsylvania next weekend. It's honestly, I took the gig just to get away from my kids for 3 days, so I'm pretty excited. But we are doing 2 nights at the Sayre Theater in Sayre, Pennsylvania, and very, very exciting. It actually is pretty, I think it's almost sold out, but I think there's a few tickets left. And it's our annual thing. We go in with our other resident mom, Kate Mulligan, who also hosts the show with us. And listen, I don't know, Bridget, if you have kids or not, but if you have kids, it's always it takes a village. And so we go out and we tell a few jokes about being parents. And it actually turns out to be a pretty fun night. So we hope people come out to see the stand-up show.
Yeah, and you can go to BradfordCountyMovies.com to get tickets, or if you happen to be local, you can stop by their local box office.
Yep, and we do have a link again on today's program guide, so it's easy enough to follow, easy enough to find, and we'll check that out. Quick question. Let's just do a quick roundhouse for everybody here as we head on out. Bridget, what's the right age to let your children start watching horror movies? What would be your opinion on this?
I'm the worst person to ask because I was watching them at like really young. Really
how
young.
young is really
It
young?
turned out great. So I would argue that that's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sneaking them as early as possible as my earliest memories. Horror movies.
All right, Kaler, how old is the right age to introduce your kids to horror?
Depends which kid. My daughter, the 7-year-old, watched Jurassic Park with me the whole way through. When I was like, she eats the dude sitting on the toilet, and I was like, oh man. And I looked over, she's like, just loving it. But my other one, the older one, actually, if there's like, if there's music, like I will tell you, like, you know what Amityville Horror, you know what the scariest thing was in the whole movie? The music is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
The movie's really scary, but the music is terrifying. Same with The Exorcist, Jaws, or whatever. And so if my daughter hears scary music in the other room, she comes in, she goes, you got to turn that off. You got to turn that off. I can't. I go, hey, you don't even know what the story is. She goes, the music, I can't. She's like, so that one might not watch anything until she's like 25 years old. And but the other one, the 7-year-old is like, they keep wanting to watch Halloween because I play the music. I have the soundtrack that we were playing as kids were coming trick-or-treating, and I had the da-na-na-na-na-na-na. We had it blasting, and the kids love it. And then they go, can we watch Halloween? I was like, no, not yet.
No.
I'm going to say 12, 13, maybe 13.
All right, Jason, in your opinion, what's the right age?
I think you do a starter horror movie like Ghostbusters at like 6 or 7, and then you move up to like 12 or 13, like Kaler said for the other stuff.
At what age? Punky Brewster's camping episode. Which
No,
it's not suitable for children of any age. Even at 45, I shouldn't be watching it. Too much.
It comes with like your AARP card. You get the thermos. You can either choose a thermos or Punky Brewster's camping trip. So
I hate everything you choose to be, Dimitri.
You have chosen poorly.
Very, very poorly. I personally, I walk with you on that path. I think start them off with some Scooby-Doo, move your way up into Ghostbusters, see how your kids deal. My kids were all over the board from what they would accept. Like Pacey, she's wanting Chucky at the age of 6, right? My other kid at 13 is still not sure he wants to watch horror. So you'll get the vibe for your kid, but don't make them feel bad if they're wanting out of it. Everybody deals with it at their own way. Horror is different to every person, and sometimes there's something going on that might be triggering their reaction. So be aware of that. This is a fun season. Just enjoy it for what it is. Thank you guys all for joining us today and being a part of the program.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having
me. You got it.
Bye, guys.
You got it. Check out the links below. You can see how you can keep in touch with each one of our guests today. And I'd like to thank my guest, Bridget Marquardt. Again, you can follow her at the links. provided in today's program guide. Thanks to Jamie Kaler and Jason Gowin for the laughs and the chills. And check out their upcoming comedy special and their weekly series, The Parents Lounge. The show's on the program guide tonight as well. And thank you all for visiting the Paranormal 60, allowing me along on your journey. And may the darkness be just a little more light here with the information that we share. Enjoy the spookiness of the season, but remember to have fun. There's a time for scares, and there's a time to care. Make sure to like this video and podcast, subscribe, and tell everyone you know about it. And for you that are new to this podcast, welcome to our family. Welcome to the Paranormal 60 with Dave Schrader.